from the Southwest Network of Radio Nigeria. The time is 2 o'clock.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of The World Today for the week. It is a Southwest Network program of Radio Nigeria Banozono station comprising news, future and sports. In the lineup, Nigeria signs landmark digital MOUs with Sierra Leone. NAF collaborates with Defense Academy on effective training of officers. On the foreign scene, Guinea-Bissau military appoint transition presidents. Bangladesh former Prime Minister gets 21 years jail term for land grabbing. Of the matter is on mitigating climate change for effective dry season farming. My name is Olushola Akinropo. And reading with me is
Olubukola Enimola. You can also listen to us on live stream via www.radionigeriaibadan.gov.ng or watch us live on Facebook at Premier FM 93.5. Be security conscious, report any strange movement around you. And now the news in full. Nigeria has deepened its regional digital cooperation after the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Mr. Bosun Tijani, led a high-level delegation to Sierra Leone for the Nigeria-Sierra Leone Digital Economy Bilateral Trade Mission, sealing multiple memoranda of understanding MOUs to boost innovation, cybersecurity and cross-border digital trade. The two-day mission reinforced Nigeria's growing influence in shaping West Africa's digital future, coming shortly after Dr. Tijani participated in the regional summit on digital transformation in the Republic of Benin. The engagements held in Freetown featured ecosystem tours, government-level meetings and technical sessions focused on digital public infrastructure, broadband expansion, artificial intelligence development and private sector collaboration. Both governments reaffirmed shared commitments to regional digital integration, youth innovation, resilience, connectivity, and long-term development of a more inclusive West African digital economy. The agreement signed by both countries covered digital public infrastructure, broadband infrastructure, spectrum collaboration, artificial intelligence, and emerging technologies, as well as talent development and institutional capacity building.
The Southern Governors Forum and the Southern Nigeria Traditional Rulers Council have jointly passed a vote of confidence on President Bola Tinubu and endorsed his re-election bid for the 2027 general election. The resolution is contained in a communique issued at the end of the inaugural joint meeting held in Iperu Remo Ikene local government area of Ogun State. Reading the communique, Chairman of the Southern Governors Forum and Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, said the endorsement was based on President Tinubu's commitment to national stability, economic reforms and ongoing improved security. The communique highlighted recent gains in foreign exchange stability, a decline in inflation, and the gradual easing of food prices as signs of economic recovery under the current administration. On security, the forum advocated the inclusion of traditional rulers in state security councils, the creation of zonal security trust fund, and a unified intelligence sharing framework. The communique also urged states in the region to collaborate with the National Identity Management Commission and IMC on a unified resident identification system and to intensify efforts to curb illegal mining.
Oyo State Governor Engineer Seyi Makinde has assured original landowners affected by the Ibadan Circular Road project that their concerns will be fully addressed under his administration. Governor Makinde gave the assurance while meeting with landowners from Ido local government area at Ologuneru, Ibadan. The governor, who confirmed New Towns and Cities Development Authority as government genuine representative to address outstanding issues related to the project, urged landowners to establish a 10-member committee to work closely with the authority. He also pledged that no property would be demolished without adequate compensation. Governor Makinde, while reaffirming his administration's commitment to transparency and accountability, promised landowners that their trust would not be betrayed. Governor Makinde urged affected property owners to disregard any markings on buildings beyond the approved 150-meter setback in developed areas, emphasizing that the project would not exceed the designated limits. Speaking earlier, representatives of other property owners appealed to Governor Makinde to consider reducing the setback and document the agreement to avert future reoccurrence. At the meeting where Ibadan Mogajis, including Abbas Oloko, Mogaji Adanla, Wale Ladoja, government functionaries, among others.
Panelists at a program to mark this year's International Day for Eliminating Violence Against Women have x-rayed the impact of social media on cases of abuse of women and children in the country. At the program organized by the Office of the Wife of the Governor of Oyo State, Chief Tamunomini Makinde, the panelists highlighted the advantages and disadvantages of social media. Speaking on the theme of this year's event, Uniting to End Digital Violence Against Women and Children, the panelists maintain that despite digital academic support that students enjoy from the internet, when handled carelessly, the side effects might be numerous.
All the officers there, they are well trained in order to handle the cases of gender-based violence. Then all our officers on the gender desk table across the command, they have undergone different type of training in order to know how to receive complaints and how to handle the complaint.
One of the panelists, a senior special assistant on information technology ICT to Governor Seyi Makinde, Mr. Adebayo Akande, said the girls must be enlightened that the internet would always remember the good and the bad content, hence the need for them to be careful of what they post on social media. Former Commissioner for Justice Professor Oyewo San reiterated the need to employ more counselors in schools as students warm up to anyone with listening ears and called for training for the teachers to have the technology knowledge to be able to familiarize with technological advancement. In an address, wife of Oyo State Governor Chief Tamunomini Makinde cautioned the girls from careless on being social media, saying they should learn from past experiences where women and girls have been robbed of their dignity, health, and future caused by digital gender-based violence.
Let us all work together and end digital violence. As teachers, please teach your students how to stay safe online. Encourage them to raise any questions or concerns about internet use.
The students held a walk with Her Excellency and some state commissioners holding placards with inscriptions such as Oyo State says no to child abuse, every voice counts, stop domestic violence, say no to rape.
The Ogun State government has approved a comprehensive infection prevention and control (IPC) manual aimed at protecting parents and frontline health workers while reducing the spread of infectious diseases across health facilities in the state. At the validation meeting in Abeokuta, the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, said the manual represents a major step towards strengthening healthcare delivery and ensuring that evidence-based practices become standard across public and private facilities. Dr. Koka noted that the manual provides practical guidance on environmental hygiene, waste management, safe injection practices, standards, precautions, and surveillance of healthcare-associated infections that would also serve as a reference for training, supervision, and quality assessments. Events in recent years, from the COVID-19 pandemic to recurring outbreaks of Lassa fever, cholera, Mpox, and other infectious diseases, have further reinforced the reality that robust IPC systems are not optional components of the health architecture.
The Osun State House of Assembly has reiterated its commitment towards mobilizing its legislative apparatus to monitor the 2026 State Appropriation Bill for optimal performance and desired outcome. The Speaker, Prince Adewale Egbedun, gave the assurance while declaring open the 2026 Annual Budget Defense Exercise during plenary held at the Assembly Complex, Osogbo. Prince Egbedun assured that the Osun State House of Assembly is committed to achieving optimal budget performance in alignment with the yearnings and aspirations of the residents of the state. He emphasized the need for maximum cooperation from ministries, departments, and agencies as the exercise progresses. In his remarks, the Chairman, House Committee on Finance and Appropriation, Mr. Olumide Fatomishi, expressed the readiness of the committee to attain a thorough budget defense exercise. Mr. Fatomishi, who noted that the Assembly is committed to promoting prudent management of the state resources, urged ministries, departments, and agencies and government institutions to uphold transparency and accountability during the defense sessions.
The Anambra State government has intensified its environmental enforcement efforts as the Operation Clean and Healthy Anambra Brigade launched a full-scale cleanup to no street trading exercise across major parts of the state. The managing director of the brigade, Mr. Clestine Anere, led the enforcement operation at the Onitsha main market, declaring that the agency will no longer tolerate any form of street trading or environmental violations. Mr. Anere said the brigade had adopted a firm, uncompromising approach to enforcing state environmental laws, warning that offenders would receive no sympathy or exemption. He added that the cleanup and enforcement exercise would be continuous, stressing the need for consistency to maintain environmental safety. The managing director of the brigade also expressed concern over the rising number of buildings constructed without catchment pits, forcing many property owners to discharge wastewater onto public roads.
The Zonal Director, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Dominic Mokikan, has appealed to the chairmanship candidate of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ, Oyo State Council, on the platform of the great minds, Akeem Abbas, to uphold truth, be magnanimous in victory and be gracious in defeat. The Zonal Director stated this while hosting a campaign team of great minds at the conference room of Radio Nigeria, Dubai, Ibadan. The Zonal Director advised Mr. Abbas and his team to live up to his campaign promises if elected into the office. In his reaction, the Oyo State NUJ chairmanship candidate, Mr. Akeem Abbas, said he is contesting for the position of NUJ chairman to rid the Union of Johnson restore the standard in the profession. He noted that his team were carefully selected, having examined their professional standards, character, and media organizations. He pledged to prioritize the welfare of members through subsidized foodstuff and training of members. Earlier, at the Studio One, where the team rolled out the campaign agenda, the Deputy Director, News and Current Affairs Department, FRCN, Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Adewumi Fanira, urged the chairmanship candidate to restore the lost standard that the profession is known for. In his Comment one of the candidates contesting for the Secretary of the Union, who is also a staff of FRC and Ibadan Zonal Station, Mr. Dayo Adu, pledged to contribute towards achieving the mandate of the Great Mind team.
The Nigerian Air Force NAF has expressed readiness to support the Nigerian Defense Academy and other military training institutions to produce battle-ready officers armed with modern skills that could surmount contemporary security challenges. The Chief of Air Staff, CAS, Air Marshal Sunday Aneke, gave the assurance when playing host to the Commandant of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Major General Oluyemi Olatoye, at the NAF headquarters, Abuja. He said sustaining a professional and combat-ready officer corps requires sustained collaboration in training, faculty development, capacity building, and exposed to real-time operational environments. Air Marshal Aneke, who once served as Deputy Commandant of the NDA, described the NDA as a cradle of military professionalism where the future leadership of the armed forces is shaped. He noted that the NDA remains central to producing officers who are mentally resilient, morally upright, and operationally prepared to defend the nation in an evolving security environment.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Y.D. Shaibu, has called for a curriculum overhaul of the Nigerian Defense Academy that reflects contemporary security challenges. He said the curriculum should focus on night training, physical fitness, artificial intelligence, and other emerging warfare domains. The Chief of Army Staff made the call when he received the NDA Commandant, Major General Oluyemi Olatoye, at the Army headquarters in Abuja. According to him, the measures would ensure that young officers are fully attuned to the realities of modern battlefields and equipped with the warrior ethos and battle-oriented leadership skills required to confront contemporary security challenges.
President Bola Tinubu has expressed deep sorrow over the passing of Sheikh Dahiru Usman Bauchi, one of Nigeria's most revered Islamic scholars and leader of the Tijaniya Muslim Brotherhood, who died at the age of 101. In a statement issued by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onuga, the president described the late cleric as a moral compass who dedicated his life to teaching and preaching. He noted that the Sheikh Bauchi's death represents a monumental loss not only to his immediate family and followers, but to the entire nation. Similarly, Bauchi State Governor Alhaji Bala Muhammad has mourned the passing of renowned Islamic scholar Sheikh Dahiru Bauchi. In a condolence message issued by his ideal aide, Mr. Mukhtar Gidado, the governor, on behalf of his family, the government, and the people of the state, extended his condolences to the immediate family of the late Sheikh. The governor also commiserated with the deceased followers, students, and the entire Muslim Ummah across Nigeria and beyond, describing the late cleric as a figure in Islamic scholarship and a man of deep faith, humility, and wisdom.
One of the leaders of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW, Odoiro Ilesha, popularly known as Gamalin, and two other yet unidentified persons have been killed by suspected political gladiators. Following the gruesome murder, some alleged members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, NURTW Odoiro branch, Ilesha, took to the street to ventilate their anger by disrupting the economic activities of the people around Odoiro to roundabout Ilesha. Staff reporter Zion Oyelade has the rest of the story.
Commercial activities at Odoiro around roundabout in Ilesha began as usual until around some minutes to 8 o'clock in the morning, when those allegedly described as members of the National Union of Road Transport Workers NURTW came in force to destroy private properties and obstructing vehicular movement to protect the death of one of their leaders, simply known as Gamalin, who was killed in his home. Apart from its leaders, Gamalin, two persons whose identity were yet to be known were also killed, which made the immediate people around found the environment scampered for safety before the men of the Nigerian police force arrived to the scene. Speaking with Radio Nigeria, one of the members of the union, who preferred to be anonymous, said the attention of the leadership of the union had been called to address the situation, saying those behind the gruesome murder of their leader, Gamalin, were still being unraveled, as some pointed accusing fingers to some hoodlums claimed to be working for the political figure. The NURTW, who explained that the killing had political undertones, as Gamalin received some calls before the incident, noted that investigation is ongoing to track the phone number of the caller. Also speaking, a commercial motorcyclist, Mr. Ibukun Sunday Adetutu, called on Owa Obokun of Ijesha Land, Oba Adesuyi Astro, and the state government under Governor Ademola Adeleke to find lasting solution to the activities of political thugs, saying the hoodlums must not go scot-free.
So the back KPC say all these things, they have for this, they say make it keep better to do. But KPC make it find something to do. Make everything day peace. Today, I'm a Olokada.
Mr. Adetutu said government and traditional rulers need to prioritize the security and peace of the people for the economic sustainability of the people. A shop owner around Odoiro, Muto Park, Ilesha, Mr. Seyi Omolola, frowned at the attitude of some political gladiators in the state who were very concerned about winning the next election, not minding the peace of the people.
The government because na problem for today. Today na 26. Somebody died for that Ilesha roundabout.
Mr. Omolola, who said the incident could not be divorced from political activities, called on political parties to plead with their candidates and supporters to embrace peace and conduct themselves before, during, and after the forthcoming election. All effort to speak with Nigerian Police Force Ayeso area Ilesha proved abortive. However, as at the time of filing this report, people are not allowed to board vehicles at the Muto Park, and police patrol vehicles were moving round the park and the entire city of Ilesha as people continued to go about their lawful activities. In Ilesha, Zion Oyelade, Radio Nigeria.
This is the world today, the stories that made the headlines. Nigeria has signed landmark digital MOUs with Sierra Leone. NAF has collaborated with Defense Academy on effective training of officers. And still to come in the news, Guinea-Bissau military appoints a transition president, and Bangladesh former prime minister gets 21 years jail term for land grabbing. To stay with us.
Thanks for being there. Now to the foreign scene. The federal government has condemned the military coup in Guinea-Bissau, describing it as a serious threat to democracy and regional stability. A statement issued by the spokesperson for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Kimebe, faults the coup for leading to an unconstitutional change of government in the Republic of Guinea-Bissau.
The military in Guinea-Bissau has appointed a general as the country's new leader for 1 year, a day after staging a coup to seize power and arresting the president of the West African Union as a contentious election results were imminent. General Ota Naman was declared the leader after taking the oath of office in a ceremony at a day after two leading candidates in a tightly contested presidential election each declared victory. A group of military officers claimed total control of the country.
Outside Bangladesh, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to 21 years in prison in separate corruption cases related to allocations of land in government projects, dealing another legal blow to the country's former exile leader. In a decision issued, the court found Hasina guilty of illegally securing a plot of land in the suburb of capital Dhaka for herself and her family, despite their ineligibility.
In today's Out of the Matter, an intern from the Polytechnic Ibadan, Emmanuel Ogidi, writes on mitigating climate change for effective dry season farming.
Climate change refers to long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. Therefore, it is a consistent reality of farmers across Nigeria. The rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall, prolonged drought and sudden flooding are threatening agricultural productivity, especially dry season, that affect farmers, which millions of Nigerians depend on for food supply and income. As the dry season approaches, the need to understand and address the impact of climate change becomes even more urgent. Dry season farming has always helped stabilize food supply when rain is scarce, such as vegetables, pepper, tomatoes, and other essential crops that Nigerians consume daily. However, climate change now affects the availability of water irrigation, reduces soil facilities, increases pest attack, and threatens harvest. This period, the cost of irrigation is rising because of fuel price and weak electricity supply, and farmers are becoming less productive as the condition worsens. Farmers, especially those who rely on small-scale irrigation, struggle to maintain their crops. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a direct threat to food availability and national stability. To reduce the impact of climate change, one of the most effective methods is promoting drip irrigation, which saves water and ensures that crops receive only what they need. Also, mulching soil will help to retain moisture and reduce heat stress on crops. Farmers should also plant drought-tolerant crop varieties such as early maturing maize, sorghum, millet, and heat-resistant vegetables that survive harsh weather. To protect food security, Nigeria must prioritize strategies that reduce the impact of climate change while supporting farmers with the right knowledge and resources. Nigeria must improve water management systems, making construction of small dams, water reservoirs, and rainwater harvesting structures. Solar-powered irrigation pumps can reduce dependence on fuel and allow farmers to irrigate even when the sun is hottest. Agricultural extension officers should educate farmers regularly with climate information and weather forecast, helping them to decide the best time to plant and irrigate. The federal, state, local government, NGOs, and communities should work together to promote renewable energy for irrigation, encourage tree planting to reduce heat, and discourage harmful practices such as bush burning and deforestation. Farmers must be trained in modern farming methods that use less water and produce more yield. Mitigation climate change for effective dry season farming is a shared responsibility. With improved technology, better water management, sustainable practices, and strong government support, farmers can continue to feed the nation despite the changing climate. The future of food security depends on the choices we make today.
That script on mitigating climate for effective dry season farming was written by an intern from the Polytechnic Ibadan, Emmanuel Ogidi, and read by Dayo Adenuga.
To end the news on the world today, here again are the days and May's top stories. Nigeria has deepened its regional digital cooperation after the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, led a high-level delegation to Sierra Leone for the Nigeria-Sierra Leone Digital Economic Bilateral Trade Mission, sealing the multiple memoranda of understanding to boost innovation, cybersecurity, and cross-border digital trade. The Nigerian Air Force has expressed readiness to support the Nigerian Defense Academy and other military training institutions to produce battle-ready officers armed with modern skill that could surmount contemporary security challenges. The military in Guinea-Bissau has appointed a general as the country's new leader for 1 year, a day after staging a coup to seize power and arresting the president of the West African nation as contentious election results were imminent. And lastly, we told you on the news that the ousted Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to 21 years in prison in separate corruption cases related to allocations of land and a government project, dealing another legal blow to the country's former exiled leader.
Well, that's it on The World Today. Join us tomorrow for a fresh edition of the program. Modukwe Toba edited. My name is Olubukola Enimola, wishing you a lovely evening. And from my colleague,
Olushola Akirapo, thank you very much for listening. Good afternoon.